Thank you so much for staying with us. We're looking at President Muhammadu Buhari's 1 year in office. What are you saying? What are your opinions and views about all of this that we're talking about? We've talked about security. We're moving into economy now. You know so much, how much you queued at filling stations. And of course, some of you will want to exchange your dollars and your pounds. Well, these are the issues that we'll be talking about. But you go ahead and vote this government, how you feel they've performed. The number to call is 01406-466 or go to our website at www.channelstv.com and be part of the conversation. Hashtag Buhari365days on Twitter at CTV Politics and at Channels TV. Well, let's quickly go through some of the facts and data that we have. Let me quickly go to Mr. Iwani. You have some very interesting information. If in few seconds, if you can just go through some of these statistics that we have.
What you have is that President came to power May 29. He inherited an economy that was virtually on the down, in a downward direction. And the economic snapshot is this. First and foremost, GDP growth at the time it came in May 2015 was 3.96, virtually 4%. Today it is minus 0.36. There's a 4.32% negative development there. The oil price was $65.56 outside our control. It is today $47.91. Exchange rate, the parallel market was 219 when he came into office in May 2015. Today it is 347. Underemployment and unemployment was 24.1%. Today it's 31.2. It's down by 7.1%. Inflation was 8.7. Today it's 13.7. The misery index was 32.8. That is the number of people miserable. Today it's 44.9.
How do you measure these?
Misery index is
people.
You add unemployment to unemployment to inflation, and you get misery index. The Purchasing Managers Index was 49.4 last year. It has contracted to 46.5. And 27% of the houses in Victoria Land, Ikoyi, and Lekki were vacant. Today, 42% of those houses are vacant. Diesel was 160 naira last year. It's 150 naira now. Tomatoes last year was 15,000. It is 45,000 naira for a packet. Now, compared to our other peer group comparison, we are 44.9 misery index, Angola is 49.6, Kenya is 14.7, and Brazil is 20.9. The minimum wage in Nigeria last year, using the exchange rate at that time, was $100. Today it's $56. In Angola it's $91. In Kenya it's $100, and in Brazil it's $218. Life expectancy has remained the same. And in terms of income inequality, it has increased. Meat consumption has remained 9 kilograms per person. Milk consumption, 8 liters per person. And again, like the slide will show, Fela's song, Nigerians suffering and smiling, 49 sitting and 99 standing. Femi just corrected me. The adversarial regulatory environment, we now have there's fines, NCC, NAFDAC, zero tolerance for infraction, situation improving. But now we have this critical situation of trying this anti-monopolies or consumer protection. This is a time, the reason why the economy is where it is because there's been a collapse in investment. Government expenditure has been stranded because the budget was delayed and investment has been paralyzed. The result is that in the GDP is government expenditure plus investment plus consumption. And that's why to go from 6% average 2 years ago to minus, and now with this quarter, you are bound to go into a recession. It becomes really difficult. So what is the cause of this? Delays are expensive. Budget is 6 months late. Subsidy removal is 12 months late. And forex policy is 15 months delayed. But they say better late than never. Now, what does the future hold? There are risks, major risks, economic risks that you have to deal with. Oil prices could fall. We don't expect that. Our projections show that it will go higher. There's reduced oil production because of the Niger Delta militancy. That is killing us. That is killing us. We are down to $500 million a month. We cannot survive at that level. Policy implementation delays. are killing us, weak consumer demand, declining purchasing power, and the risk of policy reversal. I listened to the president's statement today and his interview. I think he has come to accept market-oriented reforms. But there was this little words there, tacit, that showed that his personal view was that the currency should stay where it is. A strong currency is good for a country and all of that. Those are wishes. The reality is that there's a risk that policy could reverse if the oil prices increase again. But what does the future look like? The future looks like this. Oil price is set to go up to $55 next year in 2017, some projections, and to $67 in 2018. GDP growth is going to go back up to 2.8% in 2017 and 3.8% in 2018. Gross fixed investment, the big thing there, is going to go up to 3.6% and 5%, and private consumption is going to grow. The stock of foreign direct investment is going to increase because if confidence restores, and which we are, and the trade balance will go from minus $6.9 billion, which we have this year, to $2.5 billion in 2017. So in short, the economic storm is over. I'm using the words of Al Curry. The storm is over, and I can see the sunshine. But this cannot be taken for granted. You have to deal with the security issue. You've got to have policy consistency, credibility, right? And that is key, right? That is key. The coordination of fiscal and monetary policy, the fact that and policy change alone cannot solve your problem. Policy change has to be managed. And the tools of management and the people to manage it have to be sourced. So if we think that we can just, policy change is a silver bullet, it's not going to do anything.
Interesting.
There's work to be done.
Dr. Ezekwesili, you've worked at the World Bank, and the World Bank, we know, always come to rescue some economies of the world. But it looks so much like Nigeria is in recession. Are we?
Oh, well, when you are very close to it, people begin to say you are. Technically, you need a second quarter negative growth for you to be declared as being in recession. The problem, though, is that because even this policy change, the effect is going to start coming in not the next quarter, but the quarter after it, perhaps. It is quite likely that you're just going to be on the border of the same negative growth and maybe a tiny redirection of it. I think that it's important for us to situate what it means to have growth, whether it's positive or negative. Because otherwise, citizens hear growth, but they can't connect so quickly to the fact that the presence of growth means that your economy is expanding. And so you're expanding in the production of goods and services and all of that. And because those things don't happen without human bodies and exchange of economic values taking place, it means, therefore, that when you have growth, and growth is positive, and it's trending higher, you're having many more people participate in economic activities. So that means you're improving your household income, people are spending, and general livelihood progresses when you have a trend in growth that's positive. But when you begin to see growth decline or even collapse, as in the case that we've seen, it actually amounts to real human beings suffering some losses. So, for example, when you look at what has happened with the growth trend and what's going on with unemployment, unemployment was at least below 10. There's a technical definition now for unemployment in Nigeria where we've declassified or unbundled it. Yes. So we have underemployment, higher level, and then we have unemployment. So unemployment was below 10%, and underemployment was about 14%. And today, in the last quarter, what it came out as is unemployment at about 13.6,
and then you have both of them put together
13.7%, and then